Hello and welcome to the Raptors Reaction Podcast presented by Betway for all your sports betting activities. Hit the QR code that you see here on the screen or follow the link you see in the description of the episode. Raptors lose second half of back-to-back, 111 to 91 against the Indiana Pacers. The Raptors had actually beaten the Pacers twice earlier this year, both at Scotiabank Arena, but they were unable to hang with the Pacers tonight. Even though the Raptors were actually quite close in terms of just like keeping it in single digits for a lot of the game. Like it wasn't as much of a blowout as we saw in the final score. It just felt like the Pacers, anytime they wanted to, could stretch out the lead that they had. And of course, when you have Tyrese Halliburton knocking down threes at the rate that he was at, Halliburton tonight, 7 of 9 from 3 and 12 of 15 from the field for an incredibly efficient 33-point, 11-assist game with only one turnover as well. That's unbelievable, man. He was knocking down threes. He was hot early. Miles Turner couldn't miss from 3 either. He went 5 of 5 from 3. And, it was just kind of like that the whole game. Anytime that the Pacers had those guys in, it was kind of an easy way for them to buff up the lead. And I don't think the Raptors sort of helped themselves out. I think this was a game where a lot of their youth looked very inexperienced in a game like this. Of course, you didn't have Scotty Barnes, who was out of this game. Luckily, you did have Jakob Poeltl coming back to the lineup, so that's always great. It's good to see Jakob back in the group. I thought he was actually quite rusty. But basically you had Jakob coming back from a hip issue. Now Scotty going out with the hip issue. We'll see sort of how long this absence is for Scotty, but hopefully not too long because, we all enjoy watching him play basketball. But yeah, I mean, like you had a different set of leaders for the offense tonight. And I thought, at least for the starters, like RJ and IQ did okay. It would really help if either of those guys could really knock down their threes. RJ had a quiet night, 5 of 15 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. IQ, probably better overall, goes 8 for 15 from the field and 1 of 4 from 3. But I actually, honestly, like the two of those guys were generally okay. Like I wasn't really expecting them to do anything close to what Halliburton did, but in terms of at least generating and creating consistent looks for the Raptors, I thought they actually did okay on that front. I don't even mind the threes that they took. They just couldn't knock those down. But the issues really came when the second unit guys came in. And Jamal Shed, who has been a ray of sunshine all season, everyone loves the rookie Jamal Shed. He's just genuinely a fun person to be around as well. But this was a really tough night for him. Probably the worst game of his pro career so far. 7 turnovers, goes scoreless from the field, 0 of 2. And just those turnovers, man. I mean, just so many turnovers. And a lot of those were jumping to pass. And that's probably the one thing where, if you look at what really stands out from his rookie season, he turns it over a lot, especially on one type of passes, which is just bad pass turnovers. And a lot of those are him trying to force a pass or play a little too fast or try to race out, then jump and pass. Like it's just, that's been an issue for him all season. And tonight, this is probably the worst it ever got. And I didn't really think Jacoby Walter did that great either on the offensive end. On the defensive end, I thought he actually was able to give you something back. And he came up with multiple stops in the fourth quarter. I don't want to overlook that. Like he had a nice stop against, Benedict Mathurin that got the Raptors out in transition. He got 2 offensive fouls against Andrew Nembhard to start the fourth quarter. And Nembhard had been giving him issues on the other end. So it's good to see him sort of give it back to him. And then I think he had one more stop, maybe. I think he stopped Halliburton. He also kind of flopped in the post against Thomas Bryant to force another turnover. So, he was giving you good stuff defensively, but offensively only 3 points from him. And I think that, without obviously Scotty in the group, you really do need some of those young guys to actually provide consistent offense. And for me, more than anything else, the Raptors just didn't even get into anything of their sets. I mean, yeah, Indiana does put ball pressure on. Sometimes they'll press full court. And it's not particularly easy. It's not like those guys are terrible, but it's not like the Pacers are like some sort of shutdown defensive team. I think it was just kind of an off night for both Jamal and for Jacoby in terms of running the show for the second lineup. And like that just did not run at all in a lot of those stretches. Now, granted, like you know, you could probably, if you were trying to be more competitive in a game like this, not end up in situations where like you have Jamal Shed, who has already 7 turnovers, as your only ball handler. Because like down the stretch in the fourth quarter, you saw lineups where RJ's on the bench, IQ's on the bench, Jakob's on the bench. It's like Mogbo with Grady Dick and Chris Boucher and Ochai Agbaji and Jonathan Mogbo. It's like, okay, like stuff like that. It's like, okay, clearly that's a tanking lineup. We know what that is, right? But also at the same time, like yeah, it was just it was a weird one. I actually thought the Raptors for the bulk of the game actually played okay. I thought they got off to a bad first quarter where they really let Halliburton sort of take advantage of what they wanted to do. The Raptors have been really good defensively of late, but of course a lot of that has been powered by Scotty. And I think this particular matchup is really difficult because that pick and roll between Halliburton and Turner has been just working the NBA for the last couple of years here. And it's very difficult to stop it. The Raptors did get Jakob back, and, ideally you would put Jakob on the opposing team's center, but you can't really put Jakob Proto in that pick and roll and expect to succeed, especially since he's just come off of injury and missed, several weeks here with the hip pointer. The first thing you don't want to come back and do is run around and chase Halliburton or run around and chase and close out to Turner. That became a real issue. The Raptors did switch up their assignments on that front midway through the game. They kind of went to their plan B, which was RJ on Miles Turner and Jakob more guarding Pascal. That at least took away some of that pick and roll action. But at the same time, like, it at the start of the game, it certainly was very easy for the Pacers to score. And then, of course, in the middle of the game, I thought the Raptors picked up with the defensive intensity at times. I thought it was actually a pretty good game from IQ in terms of his aggressiveness. It was a huge contrast in terms of like him just running the offense versus obviously a rookie like Jamal. And this is nothing against Jamal. You know how much I love Jamal, but like, IQ did a really good job of pushing the pace when he needed to, and when he did, he was able to get himself to the basket or make a nice read and dump it off to somebody. He had a couple of plays where he was just able to just dictate the offense, like going one-on-one and driving hard and then stopping on a dime with the dribble behind the back. His defender, I think it was Ben Shepherd, like completely slid all the way into the paint, and IQ pulled up for a mid-range jumper. Like stuff like that was sweet. I thought RJ did a really good job with that too. I mean, like he got himself to the foul line a lot. As always, he drove hard. He just couldn't really get the threes to drop, and he's been a little cold from three lately. It feels like he's actually like loading it a lot more, like he's dropping the ball a little bit lower and he's dipping it way more than usual. But regardless, like he just couldn't get the threes to drop. But I actually thought ultimately he took some pretty decent shots, except for the second quarter where both he and IQ kind of struggled a little bit. But the other 3 quarters, they actually did a decent job of it. And then the rest of the guys just like were doing solid role play stuff. Like Jakob wasn't as involved as he typically would, not only because of the defensive issues guarding that pick and roll from the Pacers, but also just him coming back to the lineup for the first time in a while. Missed a couple of like little chippies that I think that he's usually pretty good at, those little scoop shots and stuff. Ochai primarily cut, in the corners or cutting and finishing strong in the basket. Did a decent job of that, but of course he's not ever creating offense for others. He's always just finishing, which I do feel like is a bit of a liability when it comes to being at the guard position when you're not really able to create your own offense or create for others. You're only finishing off of what others create for you. That's typically what I like to see from, I guess, my bigger wings and even centers. And then Grady, who I thought actually got off to a decent start, did some good things, took a charge, was able to score, looked for his 3 early on. But as the game went on, just started to make some like pretty costly mistakes. I think number one, defensively, like the Pacers really have you spaced out so far, and they force you to constantly switch, and they have multiple ball handlers. So you're like basically guarding actions all the time. And I feel like the thing when you watch with Grady is just like, obviously defensively, he's not strong. But I think the not strong is like the most important part, because it feels like with Grady, like he will just like he doesn't have the quickness to really like always be in front of his man. Like he's average quickness, let's just say that much, right? But of course, if you're coming off a screen, then your man's obviously going to usually have a step on you unless you're able to evade the screen somehow. but he doesn't have the quickness to recover, but then he also doesn't have the strength to sort of like make anybody like curl off their drive. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't like slide back into position or sort of like wedge his way back in there. Like he's both weak and like just average in terms of the quickness. And so yes, he's able to slide in sometimes as a secondary defender or as a tertiary defender on a play where somebody's driving. He's able to slide in and take a charge. He's pretty good at that. But like ultimately, when he actually has to like defend against drives, it's like very easy for people to just like get a step on him, get an edge on him, and then just maintain that edge the whole way up the drive. You know, and I feel like that more than anything else was kind of his issue. He also had a couple of pretty sloppy turnovers and bad shots that, you know, went the other way. Like he missed a layup that was kind of like he used a great up fake to fake out Pascal, who like flew by him, but then he just couldn't finish right underneath the basket. That led to a fast break going the other way, and the Pacers got free throws. He had another play to start the third quarter where it was a very easy pass to IQ, or just basically, even if he didn't want to pass to IQ's passing, cutting through the lane. It's just like he tried to force it through there, got the pass easily picked off, and the Pacers got some layups off of that. Like, you know, just like that, he just got to be a little bit more stronger, a little bit more disciplined, just in general. And I do wonder that, like, you know, when you look ahead to the offseason, like how much of some of the players' development here is just on them, like as athletes, like physically. Like I would love to see Grady get stronger. Like I know he got stronger this past offseason. That was a big emphasis of his. I think he said he gained like 9 pounds. But like I think that there's going to need to be even more of that, right? There's lots of plays where you feel like he's getting bumped off the ball. Even on the offensive end, it's kind of the same issue. When he tries to drive, guys bump him. And it's not necessarily a foul. It's kind of like just regular contact. But then that's enough contact because he's weaker to lose the ball. And that leads to turnovers as well. So I think just getting stronger for Grady is going to be a huge aspect. It's the same thing for Jacoby. I feel like Jacoby, you know, already has more of an aptitude to play defense. He's got the quicker feet and things like that I think is really nice. But you could definitely see him also get out-muscled both offensively and defensively. That's sort of just part and parcel of being a young team. But especially for a guy like Grady, who is only 21 right now, and Jacoby's only 20 right now, like that's pretty normal. These guys got to get stronger. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, you know, solid shift from Jonathan Mogbo. It's honestly a little bit surprising to see 16 points and 6 rebounds in the box score of 7-11 shooting. I felt like he missed a couple of chances. I don't necessarily like that he hangs his head when he misses chances. Like, just be confident, you know what I mean? Like, just play strong, play through some of the mistakes. You're not going to finish through everything. I get it. But, like, you know, I does feel like sometimes he dips his head a little bit and gets hard and gets down on himself. Just don't do that. I mean, like, I feel like he's actually had a pretty proud rookie season, all things considered. But tonight, you know, he finished strong in the fourth quarter, had a couple of moments where he was able to play bully ball. That's been a big emphasis for him of late mid-season, is just like getting him to like play more direct. I mean, at the start of the year, he was throwing up like he was running, like he used to love throwing up like a little push floater from like the free throw line area, which isn't necessarily a bad shot on its own right, but it's for a guy who's an energy big and an energy wing, especially this season. You would love to see him play stronger rather than sort of play more finesse, right? And, you know, I actually asked Jonathan about this, I think probably earlier in like November or December, and he told me that like the reason he shoots that shot is because he used to be a point guard before he hit this crazy growth spurt in about grade 10. And that was kind of one of his go-to shots as a point guard, was sort of working that pick and roll and throwing up these little runners and stuff like that. So I guess that's a shot that he's had a lot of time and experience with, even before he sort of changed stylistically as a person and as a player. But one of the emphasis when he was going down to 905 was playing like strong, direct, like go to the front of the rim. Don't try to avoid, you know, he had a lot of issues finishing. And I like that he put a lot of that emphasis into this game. You know, like he took he bumped his man a couple of times to sort of like get himself into the window to finish there. And I just liked seeing him playing stronger around the basket. That was nice to see. I don't like that he continues to turn down threes. Like I know he took one late in the game, but last couple of games I've really noticed that he's turned down threes. Like there was like even open corner threes, he's been turning those down. That's something he's just going to have to keep taking because the Raptors ultimately envision him as a wing rather than as a big. He's playing as a big right now just due to the roster construct, and maybe in the future he'll play some small ball center, but ultimately they wanted to play like a wing, and he needs to sort of continue to grow that three-point shot. So he's been turning that down, which I don't like, but ultimately I thought he actually played a pretty decent game. And then Orlando Robinson, who, you know, I'm not going to stand here and like gas him up too much, but like, I thought he had a pretty good game. Pretty disruptive. 12 points or 12 minutes, 8 points on 4 or 5 shooting. Got 3 offensive rebounds. Got an assist. Got 3 steals. I just thought he was disruptive. Thought he plays hard. Probably didn't play as much in this game because of how sort of up tempo the Pacers are. Like if Jakob's gonna have issues guarding pick and roll, then Orlando Robinson's certainly gonna have more of those issues. But I actually thought he did a really good job, especially for the second unit. And as far as third string bigs go, I think that like there is more potential here, certainly than a guy like who the Raptors opened the season with Bruno Fernando. And I think even last year, Jonte Porter, who had some nice moments before he was throwing games literally, but I like Orlando, more of a classic kind of center, you know what I mean? But big body, sets wide screens, goes hard to the rim. And he's not shy in terms of finishing around the basket. He's not shy offensively. I think if anything, that like he probably is a little overeager offensively at certain times, but in general, I think that like this was actually a really, really ideal role for him in terms of getting to the glass, using his size, finishing, being a trailer. And yeah, just being big overall. I thought the Raptors actually did have some pretty good defensive moments. It was really just the turnovers and the fact that they just can't hit the three. I mean, like 6 of 27 from three is just nasty. Number one, it's not enough attempts to get up. Number two, it's not enough of like actual makes. Last game, I think they went 6 of 33 against the Celtics. So you're just pretty much never going to win in the modern NBA shooting like that. And I do think that sometimes when I'm watching other teams, like for example, the Pacers today or the Celtics last night, it's just like they have the level of talent where guys are just pulling up from three from like 30 plus feet and it's no issue. Like they don't even have to run all these complicated plays. Like the Raptors, like they run a set, get the ball on the post or get the, some like double drag screens and, they're, swinging the ball and they're getting the good cut and the right angle and the right spacing. And, you put all that together. It's like sometimes it works out. And then like other teams are like, yeah, Halliburton's going to get a screen from like 35 feet from Turner. You're either going to switch that or you're going to try to sort of fight over that screen. If you try to fight over that screen, chances are you're probably just going to pull up for three from like 35 feet and he's going to make that. Or Turner's going to pop out for like 30 feet and he's going to make that. Or like the other game, Tatum's just going to cross up, pull over and knock it down. It feels a little bit more unfair. I'll just say that much. The Raptors are like doing extra homework. They are staying behind. They're visiting the TA's hours and doing all the extra assignments, and other teams are just like, yeah, I'm just gonna roll up to the exam and I'll ace it, and I'm gonna go back to living the life of a university student basically. So it does feel a little bit unfair at times. The Raps are definitely tryhards, and even with trying hard, they didn't really get that far in this game. But hey, it is what it is. We're going to turn it over now. We're going to bring Alex Wong in, who I know has been in the chat here, talking it up with the people in the live stream. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Yeah, dog days, just grinding some tape here. Was watching the end of Knicks Sixers. The Sixers had come back there in the fourth quarter, but Jalen Brunson got them. So Knicks Sixers now lost 9 straight.
Brother.
So just showing up to their funeral and just posing up, watching every game. I don't know if you saw today, Paul George officially announced that he's going on a podcast break to focus on winning a championship.
Wow. So selfless of Mr. Paul. Mr. George, I'm sorry. Mr. George. That's what a way to take one for the team. I mean, I think we've been saying this, like it's mad awkward for players to do player pods in season. Like, it just is.
I actually don't respect PG for this because like as podcasters, as fellow podcasters, the only way to get through it is to just pod through it. Like you have to pod through it.
Yeah,
like I've never seen you quit. I never seen you quit the last few seasons when you had to cover Malik Williams or whoever it was, like all these guys when the Raptors were tanking. Like I've never seen any quit from you. So like why does Podcast P get to have this giant platform and then when his team is 20 and 38, he gets to bail?
Here's the thing. I agree with you. But what I actually would have wanted to see was for Paul George to stop doing the podcast, but for the other two guys to keep it going.
Just the two white guys. What are they gonna do, man? Talk about which fraternity they were in college?
No, I just want to see a podcast, like a player podcast, but without the player.
I wish we had.
I want them to know how much that they're being carried by the fame of the player that they're associated with.
I wish Jerome was available tonight because I really want to play the clip of when PG actually announces it. Because if you guys watch the clip, both of his co-hosts are on the screen too, and they're like nodding so hard, trying not to laugh because it's just ridiculous. He's like, yeah, after my podcast today, I'm gonna be taking a break. Like, that's insane. Yeah. No, I think when you commit to doing a podcast, like that's part of the bargain. Like, you're not going to be on a winning team every year. Like, Draymond's been on good teams and bad teams. He's potted through NBA Finals. He's potted through.
I wouldn't say Draymond is I was gonna say I wouldn't say Draymond is exactly a model citizen or anything.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna pod, you can't. I don't respect it. Like, you have to like go through it and just pod through the season. Is all I'm saying.
You know what? I do hear you because I feel like you are not necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I guess Wave Sports really gotta just like have a conversation with them. But you know, this is one of those things where you legit have to go to your boss and be like, hey man, I can't do this no more. I got to focus on ball. It's like, dude, it's been so long in the season, man.
No, like you're probably gonna get shut down in like the next 2 weeks. Like, this is actually the perfect time to go on a crazy pod run right now. Like, he could probably do like 3 episodes a week right now. So
if he just told us like what's actually gone wrong this season with the pod, I feel like it actually would be pretty fired. Like, if he told us the honest truth about, like, remember like Embiid, like with the reporter Marcus Hayes earlier in the start of the season.
Oh yeah, and teammates called out Embiid because Embiid was showing up late to like practices and things like that. Yeah, there was that players meeting.
Well, actually, you know what? He definitely did do a pod about the players meeting, which is crazy. Did he say like, we're gonna find who leaked this?
Oh yeah, I think he did that too. I don't know, man. The Sixers season has been hilarious. We actually should circle back with Keith Pompey when the season ends, because I feel like Keith loves to just tell us everything.
Oh well, last time we talked to Keith, he revealed that Brian Colangelo's burner was one of his trusted sources.
Right. Colangelo's wife,
which is pretty incredible.
Used to message him all the time. So.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, here's the image, man.
Oh yeah, here we go. Is there gonna be a video? Oh, that's.
Oh, do you want the whole video? I have the video too. Do you want to actually see the video?
Play the video.
All right. Here's the video of Paul George explaining that he's taking a hiatus from his podcast because the Pacers have, or because the Sixers have lost 9 in a row.
Fellas, it's no secret. This season is up to this point, man. It hasn't been what we envisioned. I know my goal when I first signed with Philadelphia was to bring a championship to these amazing fans here. I still remain positive about that, and that is still the case and where I'm coming from. With that being said, though, I want to let the Podcast P family know that after today's episode with Dwight, I plan to take a break from the pod just to focus on getting my body right, getting mentally right, and, help this squad make a push towards our goal to finish the season out, give ourselves a chance to be in contentions to compete for a championship. I won't front. The desire to get back to shooting in person with my guys as well is the forefront of, this hiatus as well. I look forward to us three being back together and doing this as we once started this. So we'll be back on that note. Be sure to lock in with us because we got some big things in store in our future. In the meantime, y'all be easy. From Podcast P, love and peace.
I'm sorry, man. That's amazing, man. You see the host on the right just nodding the whole time, being like, yo, so I'm out of a job now? Like, what's going on?
No, but this is why I'm like, okay, fine. Paul George is busy pushing his team to the championship, which is pretty funny to say right now. But I guess he's got to say what he's got to say.
Also, the Podcast P family is crazy.
But he also called himself Podcast P, which I'm just like, that's tough, dog.
I should have looked this up, but he's like, after this pod with Dwight, like, which Dwight did he talk to? Is it Dwight Powell? Dwight Howard? I'm so curious who it is.
It's probably Howard. If it's probably Dwight Howard, and Dwight Howard's probably like, the Lakers need a center. What about the guy who helped you shut down Jokic? He's always on the shut down Jokic. I can't believe Dwight Howard's career has been like as good as it is, which is like Hall of Fame worthy, and multiple time Defensive Player of the Year winner, right? Like at one point, like a top 5, top 3 player in the NBA. And now his legacy is the one thing he talks about the most is just how he frustrated Jokic in 2020. Like, that's tough, man. Dwight bites.
Oh man,
Give me your favorite Dwights, man. Tell us your favorite Dwights, bro.
Oh yeah, it is Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard on epic battles with LeBron, being let down by Tracy McGrady, best dunkers ever, and more. Damn.
Wait, being let down by Tracy McGrady.
I gotta respect Podcast P though. He up to this point has been putting out an episode basically once a week.
Damn.
Throughout the season. So he's been putting in work, man. And he's like near the top of the charts too. So I guess it's good to lose him.
You know what? Were we behind Podcast P in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, nice hat. Yeah,
that's tough.
What else, man? Just trying to avoid talking about the Raptors. You know how it is. Did you watch Lakers Mavericks last night?
I did watch Lakers-Mavs. We'll take questions in a bit. Yeah.
We'll take questions in a bit.
I did watch Lakers-Mavs last night.
Any takeaways?
I mean, I think my takeaway is just like it's been great seeing like a new spectacle, but I do feel like LeBron and Luka both do kind of very little off the ball. Right. I feel like Luka that's not true. Luka does nothing off the ball. LeBron does a lot off the ball. So it's basically like they're forcing LeBron to play off ball for the first time probably in his whole career when it comes to like the primary guy who has the ball all the time is going to be Luka. And Luka did find LeBron for a couple of like dunks towards the end of the game, which kind of sealed it. I feel like they haven't necessarily had a signature win yet. If I'm going to be completely honest,
you're not counting the win on the road against Denver as a signature win. I mean,
Denver played like shit that night, man.
But, okay, fine. You got to give them credit. I mean, I think they held Jokic to a pretty good stat line.
They triple team Jokic. That's true.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good, and that was the first game where Luka kind of really finally showed up, right?
Luka definitely showed up. The thing is, I feel like there's like way more for Luka to get to. Like, there's still kind of like this little sad boy mopiness about him sometimes. So I'm just like, like you can tell because the Luka that we've seen all career so far for him is just like this like swaggering figure, and he doesn't necessarily feel like that.
He's getting a little bit. I feel like he's getting a little bit of that back. And I think part of it is, like you mentioned, like I think LeBron is doing a good job. Unselfish, is doing a good job of just like making sure that he's deferring to Luka, that this isn't going to be kind of a thing where it's a back and forth between them. And I think this is a perfect position for LeBron now, like at age 40, to finally he's been talking about wanting the ball out of his hands for like how many years now? Like
it's true.
That was the whole point of getting Russell Westbrook in the first place when they traded for him. Yeah. And he finally has a guy that he trusts and is really good with the ball in his hands. And I don't know. It does feel like the Lakers, like maybe they're like a guy or two short, but it's like they have LeBron, they have Luka. Reeves is really good. I'm a huge fan of Rui. Just play Rui. Just play Rui at the 5 in the playoffs, man. We're good.
I don't know about all that.
Gabe Vincent, 7. 7's been back. Like 7 had some big shots against Denver.
He might be the worst player in the rotation right now.
That Goodwin dude randomly wearing a mask is pretty good.
He's not bad. I don't mind him.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man. Like
Hayes got a weird case why he's still around.
I know Dallas was not full strength last night. Like they're literally missing all their big men, and then Dwight Powell has to come in and get hit in the face again like 7 times. Just like
man.
Every game.
I will say that I have the same barber as Dwight Powell's barber.
Nice humble brag. But I'm interested in seeing this matchup when AD is back. Like when AD and Lively are in there. I actually think the Mavs are like not a bad team this season.
No,
still does not excuse them for making this trade because I think it just breaks the trust between the fans and like the ownership. But like I'm very interested to seeing this matchup fully healthy.
Did you see what did you make of Nico just like being courtside in like a very visible suit? Like he could have chosen to be like a lot more anonymous
Yeah, he was in
than he
that.
decided to
He was
be.
in that like a maverick blue suit,
Yeah.
kind of like the color of what you're wearing right now.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, he was courtside. I don't know. I think
Why
that
was he
was.
just staring down Luca the whole time, man?
I guess I don't know, man. It's
Shit's
just like
weird.
it's like a weird masculine type thing or something. But then Luca was like doing push-ups in front of him.
Yo,
Pre-game.
that was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean the other conspiracy.
No, man, I have, you know me, I love watching warm-ups, bro. I love
Yeah.
watching warm-ups. And it's not just the Raptors warm-ups, right? Those are the ones I tell you about. But like I watch the opposing team's warm-ups too. I've seen like guys running suicides, you know, just to like stay ready and stay warm. I've seen all sorts of weird stretching, you know, like all sorts of like weird calisthenics. Remember people used to work out in the back, you know, winners work with the sun, stuff like that.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
I've seen all that stuff. I've seen people lift on the court and stuff. I have never in my life seen a guy just straight doing raw push-ups, and they were like half push-ups too, man.
Well, it's just
That was killing me.
it's crazy because like Luka obviously still has a great relationship with like all his former teammates. Like Kyrie was speaking really highly of him after the game, but the one guy that Luka didn't embrace was the other person Luka didn't embrace was Jason Kidd as well. So I guess the intel to Luka is that Jason Kidd was involved in this backstabbing as well. So I don't know.
I mean that
Mark Cuban seems safe, I think, because Cuban sold his majority stake, and I think Luka's still cool with Cuban. So the only people implicated in this are the owners,
Right.
Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I don't know why Kidd would want Luka gone though. So
I mean, I'll say this delicately, but have you never changed workplaces and been salty at your former employers?
yeah, but this one is like we can't be comparing like any of us switching places to Luka getting blindsided. And
Fair enough. Also, the reports are killing me too, man. Every report is just like Luka's fat, and also he smokes hookah.
So today, Sam Amick of The Athletic reported that the Mavs had issues with Luka's quote taste for beer and hookah, and felt that his health history would likely lead to catastrophe in the next 5 years. So they're betting on a massive crash out from Luka. But the crazy thing is by trading him, I think they're guaranteeing that Luka is gonna get into the best shape of his life.
Do you think the Lakers actually or the Mavericks actually saved Luka?
Yeah, no,
because that's the way they're making it sound. Like, bro, how much hookah was he doing?
I just feel so bad for Mavs fans because just like last night must have been tough. Like they're just gonna have to live with this, and it's not like Luka got traded to a team that's not gonna be on national TV every other night.
Yeah,
like they're gonna have to see Luka on the Lakers for like the next however many years.
Yeah, and we're not gonna like name any names whatsoever, but we were just at All-Star Weekend. We were at some parties.
Yeah,
there are NBA players in there. Like, Luka ain't the only NBA player that smokes. I'll just tell you that much.
Well, yeah, that, and also just like, I mean, people have pointed this out. Like, if he's on this beer and hookah diet and has made 5 All NBA first teams, and it was ridiculous stat too. So he put up a triple-double last night, and I saw that he's now had a triple-double against every team in the league.
Yeah. The Mavs were the only team he never had it against because he never played against himself.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
That he's registered a triple-double against every team. Like, that's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, so, like, yeah, I think...
someone in the chat was saying they're describing him like Lamar Odom. Who the Mavs did sign, by the way.
Oh, my God. Anyways, I'm really high. I'm really high on the Lakers. Right now, and so they've won. They're 15-4 in their last 19 games. So this precedes the Luka trade, and they have a chance to finish with the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. And right now on Betway, their adjusted over/under win total is 49.5 wins. So the Lakers are 35-21 right now, which means to hit the over, they got to finish 15-11 in their last 26 games. What do you think about the Lakers' chances of hitting 50 wins?
I mean, the Lakers are in a really great groove right now, man. I mean, it's not even just like Luka and LeBron. It's Austin Reeves has been like the standout that every time you watch the Lakers, you're like, you walk away very impressed with Austin Reeves. The Lakers, the rest of their schedule is pretty tough. Like, you got 2 games in OKC, for example. You got the Rockets on here. You got the Pacers on here. The Nuggets again in Denver. You got back-to-back against the Clippers, the Timberwolves. It's what they do to the league every year, what they do to the Lakers, which they put them on national television and they put the good teams versus the good teams on national TV in the second half of the schedule when the NFL is over. But with the way the Lakers are rolling right now, I think this is actually pretty good. I like this. I think they're pretty heavily incentivized. Obviously, they don't want to screw around with the play-in tournament. And they just looked really energized. I mean, when you have this sort of situation, like they look very galvanized. LeBron looks galvanized. Luka looks motivated. I mean, a couple more push-ups, he might be, down to 250 or something like that. So, like, yeah, I like this, man. And also, like, you're seeing a little bit of a JJ Redick, like, Coach of the Year kind of buzz from his former ESPN teammates. How's that fair, man?
Yeah, look out for
the coworkers just gonna vote you Coach of the Year.
Look out for the JB Bickerstaff Coach of the Year run too, man. They just beat the Celtics tonight. They've now won 8 in a row. So I think everybody's got Kenny Atkinson as the shoe in, but I feel
kidding. Yeah,
I feel like some of these guys might be able to make a run. But yeah, if JJ wins, that's pretty ridiculous. I feel like.
Yeah. But we'll I like this, man. What do you think? You think?
Yeah. I'm super high on the Lakers. I've got them making the Western Conference Finals. I've got them. Put the Lakers in the finals for me. All right. Yeah,
oh, wow.
I've got the Lakers winning the West.
You love the Lakers, man.
Yeah. So I think this is just I'm just like an anti OKC guy. I know OKC's been playing incredible all season, but I still got to see it. I got to see it in the playoffs.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. I mean, they have a huge point differential, but that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before from other teams. You guys told me this about the Bucks too when the Raptors won the title that one season.
You know what? That's fair. The Bucks definitely. I mean, the Bucks had won 10 straight playoff games, I think, in that run. But
I just don't believe in Jalen Williams. It really
one?
just
Both?
comes down to that.
Wait, both?
No, I mean the Asian one is fine.
No, the Asian one's not good, man. Sorry.
I only see the Asian one in the post-game interviews.
He's always like, oh.
Yeah, the Glazer.
Yo,
that should be his nickname.
Shay's like, I had breakfast today. He's like, whoa.
Yeah, he's really just the Glazer, man.
Shay's like, I need water. He's like, oh, he drinks water.
Yeah.
He's hydrated.
He's like, yo, we were locked in tonight. Oh my god, he was dialed in.
Yo, man, didn't the OKC reporter? Didn't he also say he was?
Yeah, he's like, thanks for your aura. Yeah, he's like, thanks for your aura. Yeah, we're killing aura. Aura is getting killed out here. Anyways, I don't know.
It's a little bit tough, man. It's a little bit tough, but I guess not that much goes on in OKC except for really good basketball. And we'll see. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. But it is time now for the Tangerine Fan Inbox. I want to let you know that Tangerine is the official bank of the Toronto Raptors, foundational partner of WNBA Canada and the NBA Canada. And of course, they're not just fans of basketball, they're fans of basketball. They're fans of fans who have their own nickname for each guy in the starting 5, or fans who stand 5 inches from the TV all game, or fans who can recreate every player's layup package while sitting on their couch. And if you're hearing this, there's no doubting your commitment. Fans like you are at the heart of what makes this game great. So this year for the Raptors' 30th season, Tangerine is turning the spotlight from the court to the stands, celebrating the way Raptor fans support their team, because this is how we fan. To learn more, visit tangerine.ca/basketball. Alex, I'm going to need you to come up with your own nickname for each guy in the starting 5. But let's take some questions first, and then we'll get you to make some nicknames.
That's insane. First question from Biggie35. What can we do to get Grady Dick going again?
I thought he actually played a lot more free today. Maybe that's just something to say about sort of how the Pacers guarded him, but I think that he certainly made it onto scouting reports. I think teams are certainly looking for him. They're bumping him. I think at the start of the season, when he got off to a really hot start, they were running a lot more actions for him, like every sort of baseline out of bounds play, sideline out of bounds play. I'm not saying he was a slob wizard, but the Raptors were really going to him a lot. as an option there. And it just felt like he was shooting from the mid range. He had the ultimate green light from there. He was shooting from three. He was going fearlessly to the basket. I feel like now, especially with the team healthier, right? You have IQ, you have RJ. When Scotty's back, you have Scotty as well. Like it just, he's kind of like, it's hard to be that aggressive, but also be the fourth or fifth option. And so it feels like there's a lot more pressure for him to knock down those like pretty much open catch and shoot threes, which is sort of like, okay, it was cool that you were like playing a Rip Hamilton role before, but now we're just going to need you to be, PJ Tucker from the corner. Like, I think for Grady, it does seem at times like he's looking to find the right balance between how aggressive he is. And I never worry about his confidence. Like, like we got a chance to catch up with Messiah at All-Star Weekend. One of the things that he said about Grady was like, we've always loved this kid before his toughness. Like, he's not going to be shy. He's going to play through it. Last year he got off to such a terrible start, or such a slow start, but like, we were never worried because of just how much toughness he has. So like, that's all good. Like, the last thing you want is a shooter who doesn't want to shoot. But yeah, I think that like it's a bit of a difficult adjustment, because he actually looked better kind of when he had way more offensive responsibility, when he was like the second option to start the season, versus now when he's kind of just like a fourth or fifth guy.
Yeah. Next question here, $2 from Dara.
Sick.
Thank you. What's more important in this upcoming draft, backup point guard or backup center?
I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to draft for need. They always say that they will never draft for need. I would say, all things being equal, I'd rather have a backup five. I like Jamal Shead as the future backup point guard behind Quickley. I also like the fact that the Raptors have multiple options that they can use to sort of initiate offense. When Brandon Ingram's back, he certainly is a guy who can play point forward as well. Scotty can play point forward. RJ can initiate offense. So I'm not as worried about who the backup one is. But there is no backup five on this team. And I do feel like it's going to be pretty important that like we're not having to play Jonathan Mogbo at 6'7" at center when we're trying to be competitive. Or even Orlando Robinson, who he had a nice night tonight, but come on, so.
Right. All right, let's see. What else? Next one here. Do you think a bench of Jamal Shead, Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick, Ochai, and another backup big can be better than the OG bench mob?
So I think it's really difficult to be better than the OG bench mob, only in the sense that like when you look at that group, and how that group went on to have success in the future. Like Jakob Poeltl went on to become, a starting center, who has made $20 million in his career for the last like several years, and he's probably going to re-up for a similar amount going forward. And so, he's been a really great, starting center. When you have Fred VanVleet, who went on to earn the maximum contract, when you have Pascal Siakam, went on to earn the maximum contract. I think the third guy in there was either Norm, who definitely had a really nice career as well. And, he's almost at the point where he's all-star caliber now. And DeLon Wright, who has been a journeyman in the league, but still like been in the league for a decade now. And then CJ Miles is whatever. Like, obviously he was like the veteran, kind of the parent for that group. If it's asking a lot for like all these guys to turn into something close to that. Like, I don't, just looking at the potential of all these guys, I don't necessarily see Jacoby as having like a realistic higher potential than like Pascal, maybe, but like a lot would have to go right. Like Pascal's growth was kind of like exponential, from a really, really early part of his career. So, I think the other part too is just like defensively, I think Jamal has it. I think Jacoby has it. Ochai, has it. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. Do you see future bench mob? First off, we never really actually see these four guys play together that much.
No, I think I agree with you. I mean, the setting the bar to the OG bench mob is pretty high, just because the way you've listed out, all those guys ended up being starting caliber players, and like some of them became star players in the league. So, I mean, yeah, out of those players right here, it is hard to see any of them kind of reaching those heights. But maybe they don't need to, because the Raptors are going to have such a great starting lineup after they get that first round pick and add that to the core, that this will be a good enough bench.
I also think that like that team, won 59 games of the regular season.
Yeah, and then what happened? And then what happened?
And then they beat the Washington Wizards in game 1. They finally snapped their game 1 curse, man.
Yeah, and then what happened? Yeah.
Well, they lost game 2 against the Wizards, unfortunately.
And
But
then what
they
happened?
went to Washington, won both of those games there, lost another one, then won it in game 6.
Yeah, and then what happened?
And then Dwayne Casey got fired and the whole team got blown up, man. Hey, by the way, Open Gym has done a really good job. It's so funny because there's so many Raptors documentaries all at once.
Yeah, everything, every Raptor all at once right now.
Yo, it's legit. Like, we got the Sportsnet doc, which is out, and there's been 3 episodes.
Yeah,
there's the doc that you were involved in.
Yeah, we the North. Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
from
and then
prehistoric to historic, and then Open Gym's been doing these ones. The last one, I like that Open Gym's not necessarily following, I guess, like their typical structure in the past was just like, here's what happened this week. Right. With the Raptors. They're not doing that as much. They're just doing, like, I guess, a theme around each episode. And the theme of this week's episode was sort of like the big transactions that kind of like really defined the last 10 years here under Masai. And I really like that, man. Honestly, like, it made me, I guess my thing is every time I watch these old Raptors, it's like, it kind of just makes me a little bit emotional, like taking myself back to like those moments of like seeing Gravis Vasquez in the lineup and having him talk about sort of how much that Rudy Gay trade changed the team, or seeing Serge Ibaka on the Raptors, seeing these guys just like Corey Joseph, Bismack Biyombo, like Damari Carroll, like even at the time I probably didn't fully appreciate them as much, but especially in hindsight when I look back at it, I'm just like, I just feel so grateful for all these guys. Like, I don't know, I've been weirdly nostalgic about the whole season. I guess that's what the whole idea of the year has been.
You don't realize the good times until they're gone. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's the whole point. Yeah, I mean, ain't nobody celebrating a 31st anniversary next year. So,
yo, what are they gonna do next year, man?
They're gonna focus on the present team. It'll be Brandon Ingram, VJ Etchcombe.
Hey, another shooting guard. That's what we need, man. One more shooting guard. We're gonna fix this.
Yeah. So that's what's gonna happen. Let's see. Couple more here. What has been the most encouraging signs from Mogbo that you've seen recently? Feels like he's been progressing positively since the All-Star break.
Yeah. Let me see what he's done since the All-Star break, because I feel like it's only been a couple of games. I mean, the last couple of games, he had 4 points against Boston last night, 2 against the Suns, 5 against Miami. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily the scoring with Mogbo. Because that's not really his strong suit. I think it's probably more the switchability on the defensive end. He's not really grabbing rebounds either. I mean, tonight he certainly had a
so he's
game.
Not been progressive.
No, I don't feel like he's been that impressive since All-Star break. I feel like the start of the season was better. No offense, but I think the difficult thing with Mogbo more than anything else is just like the role that he kind of played in college in his last year when he was really successful. He had changed colleges quite a lot. This is pretty not common nowadays in NIL and stuff. Like, players just kind of changed schools a lot. But he found a lot of success last year in San Francisco. And his role was kind of as like a small ball 5. He was dunking everything. I think he led the nation in dunks. He rarely ever shot jumpers. He was mostly short rolling, making extra passes that way. And I think he had the physicality to like really dominate at that level. And where it was like people really had to like almost overreact to how much of a threat he was rolling downhill. When you put him in the NBA, the size isn't nearly as imposing as it is in college. There's not just like Miles Turner on every team, for example. And so I feel like he's had to adjust in terms of he can't really play the same game that he did in college as he can here in the NBA. They're also trying to actively change him from being a big to being a wing, which would be fine. He does have the handle, I guess, but like he's not necessarily a strong driver right now, and he's also came into the year as a non-shooter. I think over the course of the season, he's been getting better at those aspects. He's certainly looking to shoot the 3 more often. He certainly drove the ball and was more aggressive on offense in the G League. But like, I think for me, the biggest thing is just like, I don't want to see him hang his head. Like, I do feel like if you watch him, there's like a couple moments where if the shot doesn't go in, he hangs his head. And I'm just like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you're a rookie. I know there's probably a ton of pressure right now, but like, this is what the season's about, and I wanted to play fearless and aggressive on the offensive end. On the defensive end, I actually already really like a lot of what he's done. He's shown a pretty good amount of switchability over the course of his over the course of the season. He's got that kind of ideal 6'7", super long arms, quick feet mold that the Raptors have done a really great job of. It's just basically finding what actually works for him offensively. And I think once he gets that down, I think he'll give him a lot more confidence to play the rest of his game. But yeah, he's chill. He's chill.
Cool.
I like Mogbo.
Yeah, those are all the questions, man.
Those were all the questions.
Yeah, from tonight.
So let me ask you, like, what are you watching for the rest of the season? We got like we got 23 more games rest of the year.
Okay.
What are you watching for, man? When you turn on the Raptor game, in the rare instances where you turn on the Raptor game, like what are you hoping to see?
It's just maybe we can get a Brandon Ingram cameo at some point.
Okay.
Do you think Brandon Ingram is going to play at some point this season for the Raptors?
You know what? I think there's a way to give us at least a sneak peek of Brandon Ingram without it affecting the Tankathon standings.
Yeah, I don't think playing Brandon Ingram like for 3 to 5 games is going to do significant damage to the Tankathon.
Well, I just think there's a way you can do it, right? Like you don't need to play him like the full 40 minutes and have him go all out. Like, I feel like, can you get a scenario where you play him for like 20 25 minutes a game type of thing? Like, that's not going to be enough to like flip a lot of these games, I don't think.
Yeah, it just seems like from like the practice footage, like he seems pretty good, close to returning. But I know they've been like slow playing it and saying he's really far. He's still really far away from getting back. So I guess I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you care to see Brandon Ingram this season, or are you just like, all right, just go to the off season. You've signed your extension. We'll see you next season.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I think I wouldn't mind seeing him as long as it doesn't actually flip any of the results for the games. Because we know that, like, one of the big incentives for the Raptors to get Brandon Ingram in this trade wasn't just to get PI, but they saw it as this opportunity to add talent and do pre-agency without it actually affecting their tank for this year.
Yeah,
so,
but you see the Tankathon standings. Like, it's not really going. I don't think it's going to move that much, unless the Raptors like really go on a winning streak here against this really easy schedule.
Well, they have this easy schedule. I think the other thing too is just like, I don't think anyone expected Philadelphia to be this bad, man. Like,
yeah, the battle will definitely be with the Sixers now, because apparently the Brooklyn Nets are gonna try to get this play-in spot because they've been playing really well. So
yeah, they're 7-3 in their last 10. They lost tonight, but they were playing, I think, OKC, so whatever. But like,
yeah, they were up like double digits on OKC at half too, I guess.
Oh, you watch ball like that? Damn.
I guess Jalen Williams let them back. Aura.
let me see Jalen Williams' stat line for tonight, man.
Aura. Oh man,
I can't believe Jalen Williams got haters, man. Jalen Williams had 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 of 16 shooting.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Can't picture him in the finals. But yeah, what else to watch for? I guess it's just kind of Scotty. How Scotty plays the rest of the season. Some of the development of the young guys. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's the dog days right now, man.
All right, I just hit Sim Lottery on Tankathon, and the Raptors have won the number 1 overall pick. It took one try.
All right, what are we doing? Fan fiction now?
Here, hold on. Let me just post it.
You gotta put it up. You gotta throw it up.
Yeah, let me put this up here, man. I know Jerome's like, what are you guys doing, man?
Yo, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yo, hold on.
You're throwing this up? You're throwing up. So you took one spin.
This is one spin.
You took one spin around the block, and we got Cooper Flagg.
Let's go.
Wow, Chicago got the number 2 pick?
I don't care, bro. Enjoy Dylan Harper, buddy.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yo, Charlotte moves down to the draft again.
Yo, Philly drops to 7 that has to give the pick to OKC. That's amazing.
Yo, this is actually probably the best case scenario, I feel like.
Yo, that's amazing.
This is fire. And then San Antonio doesn't add another super lottery pick to their whole entire setup.
Don't spin this like again.
No. This is it. Yeah, this is official.
Like, don't spin it for the rest of like the season.
I'm telling you, this is one click. I will not lie to you on this pod.
No, that's sick.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
tough,
I don't
dog.
know what else, man. Did you hear Jason Tatum's new nickname is apparently the Anomaly? I don't, what's going on with NBA nicknames, man? I don't understand.
I did see somebody post a nickname for Grady Dick.
No, I saw the erection.
Okay.
I was laughing at that one. What are we doing, man?
I mean,
NBA nicknames
I
are
was hoping you
officially-
wouldn't say it.
NBA nicknames are officially dead, man. Honestly,
What's your favorite nickname, man? Actually,
I don't have one right now. But like, I just don't get like why are we calling Jason Tatum the Anomaly?
No, that's pretty
Call him
funny.
like the big sleep or something, man.
Someone called him like the player A because there's always like people doing that like player A
like
versus
the player
B.
player B like comparison and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Who even
Yeah,
has
I don't
nicknames
know,
on the
man.
Raptors right now, man?
There's really not. Well, I mean, people always keep doing like the barbecue thing, right? The BBQ.
That doesn't work, man.
Yeah,
That's
and then
for a
when
group.
Boucher scored 20 the other night too, it was like the French barbecue. Yeah.
that doesn't hit, man. This is not
No,
exactly
no,
MSN at Pete Barcelona with Messi, Suarez, and Neymar.
Whoa,
you know
whoa,
what I mean?
whoa.
And the Real Madrid version,
Yeah, I don't know.
the
Man.
British Broadcasting Corporation.
Uh,
What? Yeah, I mean, I feel like nobody on the team even has. Oh, by the way, you know what I'm watching out for, bro? What is PJ Tucker doing?
oh yeah, so PJ. So
Why
PJ
is he
Tucker-
still on our team? I need to go talk to someone in the front office about this.
So the Raptors are like legally obligated to keep listing him on like their injury report
yeah,
to say that he's out like every game. Yeah, I guess like I don't know. Is nobody? I'm guessing no contender is really lining up to get PJ because even the last time when PJ was actually playing for the Clippers, like he was pretty washed.
bro. What is he? So I don't understand. So he's just at home.
I guess so, because like he's technically under a contract, so like he can just earn his money. Like he doesn't have
Wow.
to show up. So good for him. Because like which contender do you think is calling for PJ Tucker?
Evidently nobody.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
if,
but that's the
if anybody called, he would be bought out immediately.
no,
and
but
sent
that's
there.
the thing. That's the thing. So I don't
Also-
think anyone's really going for him right now.
Didn't Philadelphia tamper to get him?
Yeah, they tampered like him and Daniel House. Yeah, and then I think they lost like a draft pick or something. I don't know, man. Yeah.
That's so sad. Do you know what PJ Tucker actually stands for? The PJ.
Patrick James, yeah.
Way off.
Paul John, yeah.
Paul Jones.
Pauline Jane, Paul Jones,
So it's-
Peter Jack Tucker. Yeah.
So his name is Anthony Leon Tucker.
What? He's
And
A.L. Tucker?
After
What?
all this time, who knew?
What? So how did he get PJ?
So I think it's Pops Jr. So I think he's like his dad probably has the same name.
Okay. People are saying
Yeah.
Peter Johnson Tucker.
Yo, Peter Jackson. Yo, he directed Lord of the Rings.
Yo, he's A.L. Tucker's crazy, man.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, we're gonna have to find ways to make content the rest of the season, man. I think for me, honestly, the only thing is like I'd actually like to see Jacoby get a chance to start. I mean, like, not that I want Grady to be pushed to the side or anything.
Sure.
But I actually like watching Jacoby
Yeah,
just
so
like
maybe,
test out his limits. You know.
Yeah, maybe Grady can just have a little like sore hip or something and be out 5 games.
Mm.
So we'll see about that.
Well, I mean, I do feel like in terms of driving the tank, Grady has certainly been helping drive the tank. Like today, he was a -22. So,
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
but
All right. Patricia January Tucker.
I guess no.
Private Jet Tucker. What are we doing, man? Just making fun of PJ Tucker's
No, I'm
name.
just saying, like, he's played a long time in the league, and no one ever thought to ask if what
Yeah.
PJ actually stands for, man.
Yeah, journalism is dead, man. All right, let's get to the 3 stars and such.
All right, your 3 stars from tonight's game when the Raptors lost by 20 to the Pacers. First star, I'm gonna give that to. I'll give it to Quick. Yeah, IQ, 18 points, 6 assists. Created some offense for the team, as you would expect. That's the leading point guard. Sorry. Quick had a nice game. I liked how aggressive he was going to the cup. Didn't get to shoot as many threes tonight, but certainly was in a different role tonight, more as a on-ball sort of threat versus sort of as an off-ball threat operating around Scotty, who was absent from tonight's game. Second star, let's give it to Mogbo, 16 points, 6 rebounds. Is that a career high for Mogbo? I'm going to look it up right now. Hold on. Jonathan Mogbo. Is that a career high for you, sir? Career high, Jonathan Mogbo for the season is, you know what? No, it's 17 points. So that's almost a career high for Jonathan Mogbo. A lot of that came late, but still had a decent game, 16 and 6 for Mogbo. Definitely want to see more from the young guys down the stretch here. And then your third star, slim pickings here. I'm not going to lie to you. Not a lot to go off of, but if I had to just go with one, I'll go with Orlando Robinson. Thought O-Dog was...
Rob?
I thought Rob was pretty sick down the stretch. I think Matt Devlin at one point called him the Big O on the broadcast. And I was like,
brother.
yo.
Damn, man. We're really losing recipes, man.
We're losing recipes, man. That's not fair. That's not fair to Oscar.
That's aura, man.
Yeah. That's tough. So, your Gerald Henderson Award winner for who randomly torched the Raps. There wasn't really anybody who randomly torched them. I feel like it was mostly Halliburton and Turner. So let's go. Let's give it to RayJ Dennis, man. I actually found out this guy exists.
No way, man. No way.
Yo, there's no way you. Okay, if you watch this game, I was very confused because this guy checked in the game. I believe he was number 10, and he's kind of like a bulky guy. And I was like, who is this? Because I feel like mostly I know like I mean, like, this is my job. Like, I know most NBA players. Like, it's not, it's never a thing where a guy shows up and I'm like completely baffled as to who he is. This is the guy who played for the Pacers.
That's crazy.
His name's RayJ. Yo, that's crazy.
Don't they have a Furphy too?
They have Furphy, yeah. But I knew about Johnny Furphy. You know, he played at Kansas.
Sure.
Second round pick. You know, the Raptors may have. Not the Raptors may have, but like he was in that range that you had to look at day 2 of the draft. The Raptors were picking 31st. I have never heard of RayJ Dennis in my life, but that is an elite name, man.
No, that's amazing. Man.
We got PJ. We got RayJ.
Is it really pronounced RayJ? Because it's like one word.
what do you
so
think?
Is it Raj? Raj? Is it Raj Dennis?
Yo, Raj Dennis would be so hard, man.
I don't know, but it's not. It's
Raj
like,
Gibson.
No, I'm just saying, man. Well, I was watching the Knicks game. I was grinding tape.
Yeah.
And they got this center, Ariel Hukporti.
Yeah, well, he's been playing all season, though.
Is he like a known guy? Okay.
He did a really good job defending Scotty in the last time the Knicks played the Raps.
Yeah, I like him, man. He's pretty good. He was pretty good for them.
Yeah, he's like a classic banger type. You know, I feel like that archetype of player is like dying out now. Like this, like that, like athletic big that's just like there to sort of throw his weight around and crash the glass. Sure. Kind of has no bag whatsoever. Like, but that used to be like every team used to have one of those.
Yeah. Now you can't have them. Now they got to be able to shoot threes and everything.
Now they got to shoot threes. They got to be able to DHO. They got to be able to short roll. They got to be able to float up, a jumper or like a little push shot like Jakob. Like, what happened to
Pucker, Jucker, Tucker? What are we doing?
Yo, send us your best PJ Tucker.
No, they have sent the best PJ, and these are the best ones. Oh my god.
Yo, but seriously, PJ Tucker. I mean, if you're not doing anything, man, come on the pod, bro. Like, what's he even doing? What do you think an average PJ Tucker day is right now?
Anyways, we've got our Chuck Swirsky, Will's interview with Chuck Swirsky dropping tomorrow.
Oh, word?
I believe so.
Oh yeah, sick. All right.
Look out for that. That'll be fun. So yeah, that's all we got to tease, I think, right now.
Well, that'll be really fun, actually. I like that one. It was always great to sort of catch up with. Oh man, PJ was at All-Star? Don't tell me this was a shoe event. All right. Anyway, yeah. So listen to the interview with Chuck Swirsky tomorrow. That's gonna be really fun.
Not 7 minutes, as someone said.
No, it's like a whole hour
type.
Yeah, it's like a regular sit down kind of situation. But appreciate everyone for tuning in. We got 23 more of these to go. We're gonna get through these. We're gonna find something to talk about every single night here on the React Pod. That's why you gotta hit like on your way out. That's why you gotta hit subscribe on the channel. And this has been the Hello and Welcome Podcast, presented by Betway. Alex, I don't know what you're doing with your hair, man, but we'll see you on Friday.